I'm Jeff Cornwall, and this is the Entrepreneurial Mind. Today our guest is George Livingston with Sweet Meat Jerky. We'll be back to talk with him after this. Welcome, George.
Thank you, Jeff.
So good to have you here. I remember when you first started talking with me about developing a meat jerky business when you were a student of ours over at Belmont, and it was I will tell you, it was an idea that aroused my curiosity. I was thinking, how can you build a business off of jerky? And yet you guys seem to be on your way to doing that. So. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about sort of the evolution of this and some of the challenges you're having as you try to get into what's a tough market in the retail space.
Sure. So like most food businesses, it was a family recipe. I was studying finance and economics there at Belmont.
Well, wait, I didn't know it was a family recipe. Who's the jerky maker in your house?
It's my mom. But we like to give credit to either my mom or my grandma.
Yeah, do they get royalties on this deal?
Not yet. They fight over it, though. Maybe one day.
There you go. I didn't know that part of the story.
It did, yeah. So it started like that. I'd gone back for my final summer at home, switched my major to entrepreneurship, and I needed a business to work on.
Right.
So I thought, this is as good as anything. I've loved it for my entire life.
Right.
So I took it back with me to Belmont, continued to work on it. After I graduated, we did put enough effort into it that it seemed like something to continue doing, and the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah. So now, moving into that retail space, I mean, that's a tough road. Talk about some of the challenges you have as you try to break in and get shelf space and convince people that you're legit. I mean, what are some of the things you have to do to kind of make that happen?
It's very tough. It's fragmented. There's a lot of lifestyle brands competing with a lot of brands that are trying to scale. So and
they all think they're the best.
Of course.
Yeah.
And they all market themselves as the best tasting, the highest quality, or whatever it is. So when you're trying to scale outside of your hometown, you've got to convince stores that your product's worth distributing, that your product is high enough quality to be in their stores. And so some of the challenges we had early on was we'd bootstrapped our business, we'd bootstrapped our packaging, and of course it wasn't quite as good as our competitors. Of course we said it was, and so it took a lot of elbow grease to get into some of the early retailers.
Right.
Our big win was convincing Whole Foods in the South to stock our products. That really helped us continue to set up retailers. But the main challenge with the food business is distribution. The distributors still really have a tight grip on the industry, and so if you want to set up any amount of retailers or you want to scale in a region, you've got to set up the distribution. And distributors ask you who you're selling into. What are the stores that stock you?
Right.
If you don't have stores, they don't want to distribute you. When you go to the stores, if you don't have distribution, they don't want to order you.
So how did you crack that?
We just faked it until we made it.
That's pretty much what most of them have said over the years.
Yeah, we told people that we're working on it.
Right.
Are you in this distributor? We're already communicating with them. And then as soon as the phone hung up, we'd go feverishly try to get in touch with that person.
Right.
And we got a few people that believed in us, like Turnip Truck here in Nashville, and then the Whole Foods here in Nashville, and some local places like that. And we just continued to hustle.
So all the while that you're trying to develop that distribution into the retail markets, you're also having to figure out how to get this thing made and packaged, in a scalable kind of way.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only make jerky in your apartment for so long, and you lose your ability to expand very far.
That's true. We started making it that way, and quickly realized we have none of the expertise that's needed. And it was kind of...
Mom still made better jerky than you.
It was scaring us, what we were doing. And so we realized that we couldn't scale it that way. Distributors and retailers didn't want product that was made in a small kitchen like that. And so we outsourced our manufacturing, kept all of our same recipes, all of our same specifications.
And talk about that in the process of finding the right manufacturer. I mean, don't you have the same problem? They're saying, should we even give you the time of day?
Yeah. We did at first. We
Yeah.
we were making it in a kitchen downtown, and we came out one morning after an entire night's worth of jerky making, and I said, this can't be done.
Right.
And so I went to the nearest natural food store, and I pulled off every jerky brand, and I looked on the back, and I tried to decipher some of the codes that are printed on the packaging, and I eventually found some of the people that made their products, reached out to those manufacturers, and shared with them our story.
Right.
Originally, it's all about volume. And we were so small volume that I thought, well, we need to really sell them something good. So we shared with them that we're going to be doing something unique with the quality of the product. We're really investing in the branding, which a lot of jerky companies don't spend too much time doing. It's very masculine, it's very bold.
Right.
So they saw the need in the market that we were trying to fill, and they believed in us. And that was probably one of the biggest moments, the biggest wins in the history of the business.
And then you need a packaging company.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, they had all of those relationships.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is a
They'd been
turnkey.
doing it for 40 years, so they had the packaging relationship, they had the shipping relationships, of course, the supplying relationships.
Oh, that's huge.
It was huge.
Because a lot of bootstrap operations have to piece those things together.
A lot of food businesses start making it themselves
Right.
and grow to a huge scale making it themselves. And almost all of them regret doing that because they've got a huge amount of overhead that isn't utilized,
Right.
a lot of fixed costs that they can't, deal with when you're a startup. And so it was very fortunate that we found a good manufacturer from the start.
So have you built the infrastructure now so you can actually, as you start to gain more business, start to scale this up? Is there a limit to kind of the current configuration before you have to think about maybe doing more in-house or other kinds of strategies? Or
As far as manufacturing, we're pretty good to go. As far as scaling, we've got outsourced accounting, which helps us scale. We've got a fulfillment center, which handles the product that comes from our manufacturer and fulfills a lot of orders for us, so that's a very scalable model. So I think for the time being, we can scale quite a bit before we need to kind of reconfigure. And that's been on purpose.
And the margins are still good enough with all those outsourced partners to make it a viable business model.
They're as good as they need to be.
Yeah.
So we, a lot of
that's the challenge is
the food business.
they all have to make
yes.
profit, and that's
Yeah.
why a lot of people bring it in-house,
Yeah.
so they can keep that part of the margin.
Early on, we developed some relationships with some food business mentors, some people that had grown food businesses, and the kind of motto in the food business is, you might not have the margins you want right now, but if you've got a clear, defined path to those margins, you'll get there. Investors understand that.
Right.
Various partners understand that. And so where we are now is where we need to be. As we continue to scale, our costs will come down. We'll realize some other efficiencies that'll help us grow into the margins that we need.
And it's the niche-y kind of an industry where you really do need specialized mentors, specialized finance people too.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there are people, even more so than I think healthcare, that's what they do, is they take brands from here to here. And I assume you're getting some conversations going in that end
We
as
are.
well.
We've got some fantastic investment mentors and some people interested in investing. And from a very early stage, we thought we don't want to bring in investors that don't understand the business.
Right.
They'll be impatient.
Right.
They'll expect things that aren't realistic in the food business. So we've been pretty careful to network in the food industry, find investors that invest in some of our mentors' companies, and develop relationships with those people and keep them close as we grow. Some of our mentors don't invest in businesses until they're 20 or 30 times our size. But if they can watch us grow and overcome some of the challenges that every business has to grow through, they'll be that much more excited when we get to that final place.
Well, and they also can open doors to people who do help to
And
get to
they
that
already
point.
have.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Well, this is a great update on your story, and we're so very proud of you,
Thank you.
back home at Belmont, and can't wait to see where this all leads you.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.